I know you're not looking for moral victories or anything like this, but as you continue down this crazy road this season and you see some progress, how do you build on this? What can you see kind of down the road for this team off of this game particularly?
Well, Dana, I think you're right. I'm not into moral victories, but I think we're getting better. But start of the game, we just didn't defend the way we had talked about and the way we had worked on. And then in the middle of the second half, we make a great run, and then we miss a key box out 2 or 3 times, and then it gets even later than that, and we went to the free throw line 3 times and go 0 for 2. And so there's a lot of things that we've got to get better at. I love my team. They're a wonderful group of kids. We've got to get tougher. You got to get tougher. Got to have more pride on the defensive end of the floor and take what they're given in the scouting report to do out there on the court. And I think that if you do that, then you've got a chance to take another step forward. I really, really like Iowa's team. They're like some of our really good teams. They've got a big guy inside like we've had that can score, and they got a bunch of three-point shooters. And we feel like that we came in here and did some good things. But the bottom line is they get a W and we get an L as we're going to take our rear ends back home.
Greg Barnes, you're next.
Roy, third game in the last 4 that the team fell behind by double digits in the first half. What do you think the key is to having the guys start better?
Well, it's been completely different every time. I mean, this one tonight is just we didn't guard the three-point shooter. And if you go by our defensive principles that we do every single day, then we wouldn't have allowed those three-point shooters, and they happen to make a bunch of them. But so the first game, I guess was it UNLV, Steve? We were down 13-0. I mean, we just screwed it up every which way you could screw it up. But today, I think it was just the defensive end of the floor, and they're shooting threes and making them. And 4 of our first 5 shots were outside shots. And we've got advantage inside, we think, with Garrison particularly and the big guys that we have, and we didn't give them a chance to touch the ball. But, it's I do like the fact that they don't roll up in the corner and get in a fetal position kind of thing. They keep playing. And but, yeah, I don't want to have that kind of start, but I don't like it when we take a 1-point lead and then we have a turnover and a bad shot the next 2 possessions after we take a 1-point lead. And again, you can pick out so many things. I mean, we have, again, you go to the line with opportunity to get 6 points and you get 0. We have 2 clear, just guys that turned and looked and didn't box out, and then they score. One of them's a 3 and one of them's a 2. So that's 5. That's 11 points right there. And you just think about the whole thing. I mean, guys, we gave up 23 points for them on turnovers to our 9 and 23 points on second chance points to our 14. And all we talk about is taking care of the ball on offense and boxing out on the defensive end of the floor. And it was so crazy. I mean, 3 times I stepped to the referee and I said, this shot goes in, I want a timeout. Or if this free throw goes in, I want a timeout. This free throw goes in, I want a timeout. So we couldn't put any pressure on them by scoring. The way you put pressure on somebody is you have to score yourself for them to see that lead shrink. And we never could get any pressure on them.
Thank you.
Josh Graham.
Coach, when it's all said and done, how did you guys think you did on Garza? And individually, who do you think did best against that challenge?
Well, I think we did okay against him. I mean, he's been shooting 80% or whatever it is, and he was 6 for 20. But we've got some bigger guys that some of the other teams that they have played against. But, guys, I'm going to tell you, Luka Garza is the real deal. He's the real deal. And a great compliment that I can give somebody is he reminds me of Tyler Hansbrough that we had. He could just score so much from inside and gain so much attention that helped our three-point shooters make shots too, because everybody was trying to normally cover up to guard Tyler Hansbrough. That was one of the things that was weird because we didn't try to double him. That's not what we were trying to do. We were trying to play him one-on-one and hope that our size would bother him, and if it wasn't doing well, then we were going to try to double team him. But they kept making shots when we were running there, and we weren't supposed to be doing that. But he's the real deal, and you look at the numbers that he's put up, and I think it boils down to one thing, is he's got probably tons more sweat than a lot of the guys have, and that's something I really have always admired.
And who did well on him?
I won't say that anybody did any better than anybody else. You know, Armando and Dayron had size, but they both fouled too much for him. Garrison doesn't have the size, but he got in foul trouble as well. So he put a lot of us. He shot. It says he only shot 8 free throws, but I know we fouled him about 66 times. It felt like.
Alyssa Ray.
Coach, a lot of turnovers, but can you contribute that to a young backcourt? And how do you get those guys to take better care of the basketball?
Well, you can put part of it back there. There's no question. I mean, Caleb had turned four turnovers. R.J. had 3, and Dayron had 3, so that's 10. And they do have that one thing in common as they're freshmen. But you just got to make better decisions. Make the easiest play you can make. And I think if you continually make the easy play, and then the next easy play, then that third time you do that, it's going to lead you to a direct layup. And so you can't talk about it being freshmen anymore. We played 5 games. We've had 36 practices. I think you got to stop turning the ball over. But it's been probably of all the things, I'd say the turnovers have been the biggest thing. It's been a negative for us, and missing free throws and not shooting the ball in from outside have all 3 been part of it. But the one thing that irritates me probably more than anything is the turnovers.
Okay, we've got to, the team's got to get ready to head home here shortly here, guys. So we got 2 more. First is going to be Andrew Jones, then CL Brown. That's all we got time for. I'm sorry.
Hey, Coach, when you go back to their perimeter shooting, where does it begin against a team that swings it as well as they do, and they have 3 guys out there that can be so successful? Defensively, where does it begin to kind of slow that down some?
Well, guys, you got to deny the pass. I mean, I said earlier, we were not trying to double down on Garza. We were trying to play everybody head up on the perimeter. So if it got balls on the top of the key, then don't let your man get it. I mean, it was one of the key ones down there. We just allowed the ball to come out of the corner up to a guy, and you should always be able to deny that pass. So we got to do a better job of allowing them to swing it from side to side. So I'd say number 1 would be the one pass away. You got to deny that. And then there's 3 different occasions tonight that we started to try to jam in on the post, even though we kept reminding them that we're not doing that. And you know what that means? I've got to do a better job in practice and getting them to understand what we're saying. But if teams are shooting 3-point shots, then get your tail out there and guard them.
Also, real quickly, 22 assists on 31 baskets. That's an uptick from the first few games. Did you see progress as far as sharing the ball and guys finding each other a little more tonight in spite of the turnovers?
Yeah, I think we did. But, again, guys, I'm looking down and 23 points for them off of our turnovers. Our 9 points, okay, that's 14. And if I'm doing my math correct, the final score of the game is 13-point game. So we did share the ball more. We didn't dribble it as much. We still forced up some of the drives that we get by with sometimes in high school that you can't get by with in there. But no, I mean, guys, I was about to die in Asheville because we didn't have an assist for like the first 17 minutes of the game. I've never had that, but we did share the ball better. But late, after the early part of the game, we started getting it inside better, where we felt like we had more of an advantage in the perimeter.
Thank you.
Okay, last one, CL. Thank you.
Roy, you guys have had a lot of success the first 10 minutes of the second half. And I know you said you can't mention them being young anymore, being freshmen anymore, but how much of that is a sign of maybe them needing just a little bit more instruction or having their adjustments made for them in the locker room for them to be able to come out and do that? Do you see is there any parallel between, being young and the way that you guys seem to play better after having a break and having a chance to kind of to diagnose what's going on?
Well, it's a little bit of a here and there, 5, 6, one half a dozen the other, because I'll just think about it. The instructions before the game, that's 3 straight days of practice for 2 to 2.5 hours. So at halftime, I only have 15 minutes. And so you need to accept the responsibility to do the things we do in practice every time. Now, there are some adjustments you make, but that gives coaching too much recognition. But I do believe that at halftime we say, okay, you saw what happened when you did this, so stop doing that. And then turn to the next guy, you saw what happened when you did this, so stop doing that. And I think we can do those little things, but I think it's just it's been a blessing and a curse both, because teams have come out and hit us right in the mouth to start with. And you have to learn it's your opportunity to hit them back right in the mouth yourself. And so hopefully we'll gain some from that, but I don't know. I think maybe they learn more about their opponent. a lot of kids think that they're better than everybody else, and sometimes you're playing against a guy you may never even heard of, but he kicks your rear end. So you got to respect everyone, fear no one. And I think during the first half, the teams have made us respect them more than us having respect before the start of the game, possibly. But again, it's young guys. Who knows? It's not any great thing I say at halftime. I promise you that, because if that were the case, we would never be behind.
Garrison, this is the third time in 4 games that the UNC has fallen behind by at least 13 points in the first half. What's the key in the team getting a better start so you don't have to make up so much ground after halftime?
Not turn the ball over. That'd be the best thing we could do. I think that's the most important. Us getting shots is the most important thing. We haven't been getting shots how we want to.
What was the key for you guys coming out hot to start the second half?
Just being aggressive.
Thank you.
Andrew Jones.
Garrison, they hit 17 threes tonight. A lot of them were uncontested. How do you guys go about fixing the issue of leaving guys wide open out there, especially when you're facing a team that's also got Garza down low, so they can kind of beat you inside and outside?
Yeah, it's tough. Guess just having a better sense of urgency, contesting threes, and it's tough. I mean, when they got a guy like Garza inside, I mean, it's something you try to focus on with him, but I mean, they shot the crap out of the ball from outside.
Also, as far as Caleb goes, do you think he made some progress tonight as far as getting other guys involved and knowing where everybody was on the floor most of the time?
Yeah, Caleb played great for us today. He takes strides every game. I think he's going to keep getting better every day.
Thank you.
All right, CL Brown, next, please.
Garrison, if you could just elaborate a little bit more on that second half, the way you guys came out, just from an execution standpoint. You said it was being aggressive, but what did you guys do different that allowed you to come back and even take a lead at one point?
Getting the ball to the rim. I think most of our points came at the rim at the beginning of the second half. I think that's something that we should have took advantage of from the beginning of the game.
Well, what has been kind of the drawback or the sticking point that, I mean, we've seen you guys do this in a few games now. What is it going to take to start the game like this?
Not turn the ball over and getting better shots. So that's it. That's pretty much it.
All right, Luke Buxton, you're next for Garrison, and then we'll get the next player in a second here.
So Garrison, loss is a loss, but does this loss feel any different, or the mood in the locker room feel any different from last year?
It's still a loss. I think we played a lot harder compared to last year, a lot harder. I'm pretty sure last year we would have lost this game by 25. But we made some strides tonight, but I think we still got a long way to go.
Does kind of what kind of lessons are you taking away as you exit the game?
I think that lesson we still trying to learn. I think we just gotta stop turning the ball over so much, get better shots, quit letting guys shoot open threes. I think that's pretty much the two biggest things that that I recognize from us.
What did Roy Williams say at halftime?
Coach just told us that we got to take care of the ball more and value each possession. He was like, each possession means something. We just got to play hard every possession. Can't let them get open look stuff out there and don't turn the ball over.
And then what was your mentality in the second half? It seems like y'all are all playing more aggressive. What did you kind of take away from what y'all did to kind of get back in the game in the second period?
We just try to do what Coach told us, try to play hard every possession. Because the first half, I think they hit like 11 threes. So we want to try and let them shoot a lot of threes. And we're trying to take care of the ball, make smarter plays, make it easy play for our teammates.
Thanks, man.
Hunter Nelson.
Hey, Deron. Thanks for joining us here today. So early in the season, one thing that's really stood out about your game is your infectious energy that you play with. Where do you get that energy from, and how do you think that impacts the rest of your teammates?
I don't know. I just always got that energy. Like, even when I'm not on the court, I'm just an energetic guy. A fun guy to be around. I just try to bring it to the court so I can keep my teammates boosted up. We all got that energy coming down to the court.
Alyssa Ray, you're next.
Got a lot of young guys on this team, played Texas, played Iowa. How does this help you guys be battle tested moving forward for the rest of the season?
Well, most of the teams we playing like Texas and Iowa, they a lot of veteran players. So like we young and stuff. So like when we play against them, we just learning how to learn like college basketball more and more how to play.
Do you guys think your chemistry is getting better as these games go on, especially particularly the freshmen?
I feel like every game we getting better. Last game against Texas, they hit us in the mouth early, and we kind of we pushed back. And this game in Iowa, I feel like we started off better than we started off against Texas. But like we learn how to play better and better every game.
All right, Greg, last one, and then we'll try to get RJ in here, I think.
Hey there, Ron. It seemed like you really embraced the matchup with Garza tonight. What was your mindset coming in, and how do you think you performed?
Well, going into the game, Garza dropped 30 points first half in straight games, last two games. And my mindset going in was like couldn't let him dominate us like that. We got a lot of big guys on our team, and we all came in with a mindset that Luka was going to dominate us like that, giving us 30 points in one half.
But on an individual level, did you feel like you were kind of geared up for that matchup?
Oh yes, I was very ready for it.
Was there something you noticed about, Iowa's ball movement at the start of the game? They hit 7 threes pretty quickly out of the gate. Was that maybe what had you guys a step slow, the way they were able to move it around the perimeter?
They moved the ball very well. Got open looks. We kind of, had a little miscommunications on a couple of switches and down screens, and I felt like, after going to the timeout, we talked about it, and we did a better job, coming to the second half with energy and just knowing, the principles and locking down the 3-point shooters.
And then in the second half, you guys get all the way back and actually take the lead. It felt like you had the momentum. How and why do you think it went away?
Carelessness, the mistakes, we just got to fix the early mistakes. We're still early in the season, we're still preaching the same thing, to limit our turnovers, what's a good shot and the bad shot, knowing our shot selection. And I feel like, if we come out the way we came out second half in the first half, then we would have won this game.
CL Brown.
Yeah, RJ, so kind of piggybacking off of that, what is it going to take to start the games like you guys? You guys seem to be charged in more than just this game, the last few games in the second half to start. So what is it going to take to kind of bottle that up and start a game with it?
Everyone's got to bring their all straight out the gate, the start of the game. You can't let up. There's no cake in the walk. So you have to come out the game and treat everyone as they're high talented players, because they are. Iowa's a good team. It's still early in the season. We have a lot of potential. So for us to just fix these mistakes and then not let them happen towards the rest of the season.
Andrew Jones.
RJ, going back to their stretch of threes that they were hitting there in the first half, was there a period where it may have kind of gotten a little psychological for you guys, where you weren't reacting as quickly because those threes were kind of piling up and kind of getting to you a little bit?
I mean, I wouldn't say we didn't want to get too down and not remain positive. I think just because they hit a couple of threes, we didn't get negative. So we wanted to fix mistakes, know what we're doing, talk on the defensive end, and then fix that. Get contested, because we had some contested threes that just happened to go in.
At the same time, you guys scored around 48 points in like a 21-minute stretch, leading to the point where you took a lead at 68-67. Do you think that you guys finally found something offensively that had been missing the first 4 games?
Yes, I believe so. I believe the guards did a great job of pushing the ball this game. We got the ball down low. We saw the open looks. I think the pace of the game was a lot faster than the previous games we have played.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, Ross Martin, last one for RJ, and then we'll get Coach Williams in next, final to finish up. Thank you.
Hey, RJ, you kind of touched on a lot of different things, but I saw you mention potential. And what do you think potential is of this team? And what did you kind of learn about this team, especially in the second half, and how y'all came back and how good this team can be based on the way you played at certain points today?
This team competes. I have a lot of faith in this team. We show a lot of grit, and I think if we show that for 40 minutes, both halves, I think we could be really great. Yes, I said it, we have a lot of potential. Obviously we're a little bit young, but that shouldn't matter because it's still basketball at the end of the day.